Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to do round 12 of your Mario mushroom pattern. You need in front of you your crochet hook and your work that's been completed all the way to round 11. Here's the mushroom pattern, and in round 12 it asks us to invisible decrease and one single crochet in the next 17 stitches. Then you repeat this pattern again. By the end of this pattern you should have a total of 36 stitches. Let's take a look at the invisible decrease real quick up here in the abbreviations. Invisible decrease asks us to insert hook into front loops only. FLO stands for front loops only of the next 2 stitches. You then yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over again, and pull through the final loops on the hook. You count this as one single crochet because when we decrease, we're basically joining 2 stitches to 1. So you count it as one single crochet by the time you're done with an invisible decrease. We're starting to kind of close up our cap right here so that it domes and it shapes closing towards the center when we put our stock. Okay? So let's get started. First, what I'm going to do is show you how to do the invisible decrease a few times before I continue on with the rest of the work. Okay, now in my last tutorial, I already counted all of my stitches and I have a total of 38 stitches. You want to make sure you have 38 stitches before you start the right number of stitches, or else you're going to have a difficult time finding out where your mistake was when you have to pull back. Okay, and by pull back, I just mean you just pull out the yarn and let it unravel. Okay, now I have to go ahead and do that again because I pulled out 2 stitches. Okay, so to begin, our instruction tells us to do an invisible decrease. We need to insert hook into the front loops only of the next 2 stitches. First of all, take a look. Here are my next 2 stitches. Let me point it out with my crochet hook. Here's one, and here's the second one. Okay, so we want to go in the front loops only, which, if you watch carefully, that is just right here. That's the front loop. Whereas the back loop is right here. See how I'm in front of the yarn here? That's the back loop right here, just the back. Whereas the front loop, we're just dealing with the front, like this, okay? Normally, we insert our hook, we go through both of the loops. We go through both. See how my hook is right in between? Normally, we go through both, but we're just gonna go through the front for our invisible decrease, okay? So let me insert my hook back at the start, okay? And it says to insert the hook in the front loops only of the first 2 stitches. That's the first one. Okay, again, that's the first. And the second one is just right next to it, so I'm gonna bend down and insert it in the second one. So you should have 3 pieces of yarn on your hook. It then says yarn over, so I'm gonna yarn over. Okay, that's yarning over. You pull through the first 2 loops, it says. So I'm going to pull through. This is a little tricky. You kind of have to wiggle it around if you don't know how to gauge your yarn. Okay, pull through the first 2, yarn over again, the instruction says, and then pull through the final 2 loops. Okay, so now if you take a look at what we made this 1 stitch right here. Okay, we don't count this one on the hook. We count this one right here. That's 1 single crochet, even though we went into 2 loops right here, okay? Because we're joining 2 stitches into 1 when we do a decrease. So let me just pull back here and do that one more time. Okay. Okay. I'm just showing you how here. Okay, I pulled back a little bit too much, so let me just do a single crochet. Okay. So again, okay, I'm going to do this one more time. So before I do, for real, let me put over the marker yarn Okay, because I'm about to start a new row and push it very far back so I can see my first stitch. Again, to do decrease, you insert in the front loops only of the first one, then insert it in the second one, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops gently, yarn over again, and pull through the rest. Then the instruction tells you to do single crochet in the next 17 stitches. If you saw my last video, that means you're doing a single crochet in this, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and etc. to the 17th stitch, okay? So we need to count. Okay, here's our next stitch right here. We are not going in the front loops anymore. Right here, we go back in the regular. Okay, you go underneath the entire stitch, not just the front loops. You see? Went in through the entire stitch, and I'm going to count 1. Next stitch, 2. I'm counting up to 17. Next stitch, 3. Next stitch, 4. Next stitch, 5. Next stitch, 6. Next stitch, 7. Next stitch, 8. Next stitch, 9. Next stitch, 10. Next stitch, 11. Next stitch, 12. Next stitch, 13. Next stitch, 14. Next stitch, 15. Next stitch, 14. Oops, I lost count. Okay, this happens sometimes when you lose count, and all you got to do is just go back and take a look. So here's a stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, and just right here we made one and we close it off. So this one should be our 17th stitch. Okay, so we're back to doing an invisible decrease where we insert hook into the front loops only of the first and second stitch. So we're joining 2 to 1, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through the final loops. Then we're going to do 17 more stitches, single crochets. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. After your 17th stitch the second time around, it should bring you back to the beginning, which is right here where we were. Okay, right where the marker yarn loops over. It's right here. It kind of starts going diagonal just because we increase and we decrease, so it kind of moves it a little. Okay, so that's how you do round 12 and how you do an invisible decrease. Thanks for watching.